Good morning, students of class 12. It is the lesson from Flamingo, the fourth chapter, the rat trap. It is the third video of this very chapter. In the first two videos, I have told you about the summary of the lesson, as well as in the second video, I told you some part of it. I told you up to that very part that the rat trap seller had come to the Ramshaw iron mills, where he was misunderstood by the Ramshaw iron mill master that he was Nils Olof, but expecting that he would give him some money and let him go, he did not reveal his personal identity. So he thought of the 30 crore to go up to the manor house, and it would be like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den. He thought that if the iron mill master took him into his house, he would go into the lion's den. His life would be in danger. He only wanted a chance to sleep there in the forge and then sneak away as inconspicuously as possible. So the iron master assumed that he felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing. He asked him, requested him to have such a fine home that he could not show himself there. He said, Elizabeth is dead. Elizabeth is dead. Means his wife was dead. She died many years ago, and his sons, boys, were abroad, and there was no one in the house except his oldest daughter and himself. She was Edla Wilmanson, and so he wants that they should celebrate the Christmas together. He wanted to spend the Christmas together, but the stranger said no. And again no. Ironmaster saw that he must give in, but it did not happen. Then he called him Captain Von Stahl to prefer stay with him, but he did not. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith who knew him understood very well that he had not said his last word. It was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest came in. But this time it was not the ironmaster. He had sent his daughter. It was Edla Wilmanson, and there was lots of persuasions. There was a valet who had entered, carrying on his arm a big fur coat. She was not at all pretty. Who was not at all pretty? Edla Wilmanson, but seemed modest and quietly. She was quite modest. Master blacksmith and his apprentice still sat on the bench, and iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace. The stranger had already seen everything. As soon as Edla Wilmanson approached the rat trap cellar, he got up as if he had opened his one eye. He jumped up abruptly, seemed to be quite frightened. She introduced himself as Edla Wilmanson. So, my father had sent me here, and he wants that he should be the guest till the Christmas is celebrated. But he said it was not possible, and so she compassionately talked with him and persuaded him to go with him to her house, and he really agreed. When he agreed, she was very happy. She asked him that he could stay with him till the Christmas is celebrated. So it would never have occurred to her that he would bother with him, and he she accepted. He accepted the fur coat which the valet handed him with a deep bow, threw it over his rags, and followed the young lady out to the carriage, without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. But while he was riding up to the manor house, he had evil forebodings. What was that? Strong predicaments. Why the devil did I take that fellow's money? He thought of the crofter's money. Why he had taken that? He started thinking like that. It was his condition. He wanted to get rid of it. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the ironmaster came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade. What would he do? Whom he had run so unexpectedly, he was thinking all about him. First of all, they must see to it he gets a little flesh on his bones, he said to his daughter, who was busy at the table, and then they must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rat traps. Miss, his father was thinking that why he had come, he would be much better in selling the rat traps, but he has come. It was quite a strange thing. He was, said the daughter. The man had gone downhill. So last night I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. So the girl persuaded his father to have patience. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, he would see that he was his old recognition. Just as he said this, the door opened and the stranger entered. He was truly clean and well dressed. The valet had done him all the cleaning. The valet had bathed him, cut his hair, and well dressed him, shaved him. Moreover, he was dressed in a good looking dress. And here he had seen the strange fellow in the uncertain reflection from the furnace. He might have made a mistake, but that now, when he stood there in broad daylight, it was impossible to make a mistake. He was not his old acquaintance. What does this mean? He thundered. The stranger made no attempt to dissimulate, and he saw at once that the splendor had come to an end. It is not my fault, sir, he said. I never pretended to be your old acquaintance, and he was just leading him to go, but you allowed him to come so he would wear his old rags and go away. Well, said the ironmaster, hesitating a little. It was not quite honest either. You must admit that, and I should not be surprised if the sheriff servant would like to have something to say in the matter. The tramp took a step forward and struck the table with his fist, that he was going to tell him, Mr. Ironmaster, how things are. He said, this whole world is nothing but a big rat trap. All the good things that are offered to everyone is nothing but cheese, reins, and bits of pork, set out to drag a poor fellow to fall into this very rat trap, and in trouble they fall into. And if the sheriff comes now and locks him up for this, then he, Mr. Ironmaster, must remember that a day may come when he himself may want to get a big piece of pork, and then he would get caught in the trap. The ironmaster began to laugh at what the rat trap wanted to convey. He could not understand. That was not so badly said, my good fellow. Perhaps they would let the sheriff alone on Christmas Eve, but then get out of here as fast as he could, the ironmaster ordered. But as soon as he wanted to go out, the daughter Edla Wilmanson came and she objected to it and she went and closed the door. No, this man would not go. What in the world are you doing? Said the father. Man's father did not want that he should stay here. The daughter stood there quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. That morning she had felt so happy when she thought how homelike and Christmassy she was going to make things for the poor hungry wretch. And she could not get away from the idea all at once. And that was why she had interceded for the backup bond. She wanted him to stay. And when he would stay, what would happen, I will tell you in the next video. Thank you, children. Thank you.